Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi all set to take oath as the Prime Minister for a historic third consecutive term. Congratulatory message pour in from world leaders to Prime Minister Modi for securing third consecutive victory in the general elections. Sri Lanka President, Bangladesh Prime Minister to attend oath-taking ceremony among others. Dutch voters turn out to vote on the first day of EU polls. The Netherlands is first to vote in this round of polls to the EU Parliament. World leaders and veterans to gather in Normandy to mark the 80th anniversary of the D-Day landings when more than 150,000 Allied soldiers invaded France in a major turning point of the Second World War. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is all set to take charge as the Prime Minister for a historic third consecutive term. Leaders from diverse regions including Asia, Europe, Africa, West Asia and the Caribbean have extended their wishes to Prime Minister Modi for his win in the general elections. Leaders of Nordic nations including Denmark and Norway also congratulated Prime Minister Modi for his electoral victory. Invitations are being sent to global leaders to attend the swearing-in ceremony. Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe has accepted Prime Minister Modi's invitation to attend the swearing-in ceremony. The invitation was extended during a phone call by President Wickremesinghe to congratulate Prime Minister Modi on the historic victory in the recently held general elections. Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina will also be coming to New Delhi on Friday to attend the swearing-in ceremony of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Earlier on Wednesday, Prime Minister Modi invited his Bangladeshi counterpart to attend the swearing-in ceremony of his government during a conversation over phone call. U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan is scheduled to visit India to engage the new government in New Delhi on shared U.S.-India priorities as Narendra Modi prepares to take oath as Prime Minister for a third consecutive term. The White House has confirmed Sullivan's visit to India, and it said in a readout on President Biden's call to Prime Minister Modi. Sullivan's visit was discussed during the phone call President Biden made to Prime Minister Modi on Wednesday to congratulate him on his re-election. Biden also commended the people of India for participating in the elections, with nearly 650 million going to the polls to vote. The two leaders emphasized their commitment towards deepening of the U.S.-India comprehensive and global strategic partnership and towards advancing their shared vision of a free, open and prosperous Indo-Pacific region. Today is BIMSTEC Day. BIMSTEC stands for the Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation. It is an international organization of 7 South Asian and Southeast Asian nations, including Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Myanmar, Nepal, Sri Lanka and Thailand. It was founded on this day in 1997. On this occasion, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, in a social media post on X, reiterated India's commitment to achieve shared prosperity through a resilient and open BIMSTEC region. The minister said, "May our time-honored links grow even stronger. Warm wishes on BIMSTEC Day." Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated Mexico's newly elected president, Claudia Sheinbaum. In a social media post on X, Prime Minister wrote, and I quote him, "Congratulations to Claudia Sheinbaum, Mexico's first woman president-elect. This is a momentous occasion for the people of Mexico and a tribute to the great leadership of President López Obrador as well." Prime Minister Modi said he is looking forward to continued collaboration and shared progress with the new leadership. Let's get to weather updates now. As temperatures escalate, India's Health Ministry conducted a review meeting with states on heat wave preparedness and measures to prevent hospital fires during summer months. States and union territories are urged to conduct follow-up reviews for ensuring dedicated heat stroke rooms, ORS corners and strengthening surveillance through Integrated Health Information Platform or the IHIP. States are also asked to ensure implementation of critical fire and electrical safety measures at all healthcare facilities. The Met Department has predicted heatwave to severe heatwave conditions in several parts of the country until June 9th. Northeastern region of India is facing intense weather, with several states witnessing flooding and heavy rainfall. The floods have affected over 4.23 lakh people across 10 districts, with 459 villages still submerged. 25 people have lost their lives due to floods so far. The flood situation in Assam, however, improved on Wednesday. According to the Met Department, strong winds from Bay of Bengal are likely to trigger widespread to moderate rainfall, along with thunderstorm, lightning and gusty winds across Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, Tripura, and sub-Himalayan West Bengal and Sikkim over the next weekend. Along the west coast, Konkan, Goa and middle Maharashtra are also predicted to receive very heavy rainfall with thunderstorm, lightning and gusty winds over the next few days. Let's get to an update on the hearing in Supreme Court with regard to Delhi water crisis. The Apex Court, while hearing the matter, directed the North Indian state of Himachal Pradesh to release the 137 cusecs of surplus water to Delhi to ease the water crisis in the national capital. The Apex Court has also directed Haryana to facilitate the flow of surplus water to Hatnikund Barrage and to Wazirabad in Delhi. The court has directed that the water be released on June 7th with prior intimation to Haryana. The Upper Yamuna River Board has further been directed to measure the water that comes from Hatnikund. Haryana and Himachal Pradesh have been directed to file an affidavit to this effect. The case will now come up for hearing on June 10th. In a first for any armed forces medical institution, specialists at the Command Hospital in Chandi Mandir in the North Indian Union Territory of Chandigarh performed successful pancreas and kidney harvest from a brain-dead patient on 5th of June. The organs were harvested from the father of a serving soldier from the 14th Punjab Regiment who consented for the cause. While kidney harvest has been undertaken in the past, this is for the first time in the history of armed forces that pancreas have been harvested for organ transplantation. The organ retrieval surgery involved an 8 to 9 hour long marathon procedure. The organs were successfully transplanted in a medical student admitted to Postgraduate Institute of Medical Education and Research in Chandigarh, who was suffering from diabetes and fighting with kidney failure, giving him a new lease of life. It also ushers a ray of hope to the millions of countrymen requiring pancreas transplantation. The Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, has been ranked as the first Indian institute in the Quacquarelli-Simons World University Rankings this year. Now, for the first time, IIT Bombay ranked within the top 125 and has secured the 118th position. Its overall score is 56.3 out of 100. The institute has made a significant leap from 149th rank last year. The results released yesterday show a notable improvement of 31 places this year. Let's take a look at other stories making it to the headlines from across India now. The National Investigation Agency has filed a charge sheet against a Maoist insurgent in a case relating to a conspiracy to damage and block a road in Chhattisgarh with the intent to kill police personnel and loot their arms. The accused has been charged under relevant sections of the IPC as per the charge sheet filed before the NIA Special Court in Chhattisgarh's Jagdalpur. As the general elections 2024 concluded, Lok Sabha Secretariat is ready to welcome the MPs of the 18th Lok Sabha. Several measures have been taken to greet the MPs, including welcome centres at the New Delhi railway station and Delhi airport. Also, paperless digital process has been set up for MPs to ensure seamless registration. Guideposts have also been set up at airports and railway stations. Himachal Pradesh is grappling with severe forest fire crisis, with the state's forest department recording over 1,500 incidents of forest fires. The administration has expressed grave concern over the escalating situation and are promptly responding to the fire incidents. Also, a massive fire broke out in the forest areas of Rajouri and Poonch, causing damage of vast tracts of land. The forest department and locals are trying to douse the fire. In a groundbreaking initiative aimed at promoting environmental sustainability in Jammu and Kashmir, Vaishno Devi Shrine Board has introduced an eco-friendly practice of distributing plants as souvenirs to devotees on the World Environment Day. The Chief Executive Officer, Anshul Garg, inaugurated a saplings outlet, namely Vaishnavi Vatika, at Niharika complex of the Shrine Board at Katra. You're watching DD India Live. We're heading for a short break. But after the break, Boeing launches its Starliner capsule towards the International Space Station with Barry Wilmore and Sunita Williams aboard. A beautiful light show lit up the skies over England's Portsmouth on the eve of the 80th anniversary of D-Day. And in cricket, India eased past Ireland by 8 wickets to start their T20 World Cup campaign with a win.
The gateway to Northeast India welcomes you to the land of untouched natural beauty and diverse history.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India Live. Let's continue getting you more international updates. Voters in the European Union are set to elect lawmakers in an election from 6th to 9th of June for the bloc's parliament that will have a wide impact across the European Union and beyond. The voting kicks off today at different times depending on the country. Voting starts on 6th of June, that is today, in the Netherlands, which is first to vote in this round of polls, followed by Ireland and Malta on the following day, and Latvia and Slovakia on Saturday. The remaining EU member states will vote on Sunday, 9th of June. Results are expected to be announced later that evening. Around 370 million citizens across 27 member states of the EU are eligible to vote. Voters will be selecting 720 members of the European Parliament, and seats are allocated according to each country's population size. Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico blamed his opponents for fostering the hatred that led to an assassination attempt against him. In his first public comments since the May 15th assassination attempt, Fico said that he could possibly return to work this month. In a video, Fico called his attacker an activist of opposition parties, saying there was no reason to believe that the attack was done by a lone lunatic. The Slovak PM said he felt no hatred towards the attacker and said that it was time for forgiveness. Fico is recovering at home after he was shot at close range when he greeted supporters at a government meeting on May 15th. The attack left him in serious condition in hospital and he needed surgery as well.
If everything goes as planned, I could gradually return to work at the turn of June and July. It's time for me to take the first move, and that is forgiveness. I feel no hatred towards the stranger who shot me. I will not take any legal action against him, nor will I seek damages compensation. In the end, it is evident that he was only a messenger of evil and political hatred, which the politically unsuccessful and frustrated opposition developed in Slovakia.
UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said on Wednesday that the countries must confront not just the fossil fuel industry, but also the companies that support efforts to obstruct climate action. Addressing the issue at American Museum of Natural History's Family Hall of Ocean Life in New York, Guterres declared that we stand at a moment of truth. Guterres urged all partners to boost support for the United Nations Early Warnings for All Action Plan and said that the developed world needed to do more to support climate action in the developing countries. Guterres urged a 30% cut in global fossil fuel production and use by 2030.
Advanced G20 economies should go furthest, fastest, and show climate solidarity by providing technological and financial support to emerging G20 economies and other developing countries. At the first step, all developed countries must honor their commitment to double adaptation finance to at least $40 billion a year by 2025.
Veterans and world leaders are meeting in Normandy on Thursday to mark the 80th anniversary of the June 6, 1944 D-Day landings, being marked by events in France and the United Kingdom. Let's take a look at this report.
80 years on, British veterans who served on D-Day paid tribute to fellow troops at a ceremony on Wednesday to remember their service. Wednesday was the first of the 2 days of commemorative events taking place in both Britain and France. On Wednesday evening, crowds watched a spectacular drone light show in Portsmouth. King Charles, Queen Camilla, Prince William and Prime Minister Rishi Sunak were all at the event, meeting World War II veterans and commemorating their bravery 80 years ago. King Charles called on people to live up to the freedom that Allied soldiers died for, paying tribute to them and to surviving veterans.
The stories of courage, resilience and solidarity which we have heard today and throughout our lives cannot fail to move us, to inspire us and to remind us of what we owe to that great wartime generation.
Prince William said he was deeply honored to be joined by guests at the ceremony who had helped fight against tyranny.
Too many never returned. They remain in some corner of a foreign field that is forever England. We will always remember those who served and those who waved them off. Today we remember the bravery of those who crossed this sea to liberate Europe. Those who ensured that Operation Overlord was a success. And those who waited for their safe return.
Earlier in the day, crowds gathered near Sanadville, Normandy, to watch a large-scale parachute reenactment of the Allied liberation of the region. The ceremony included a flypast by 2 Dakota aircrafts, as well as interviews with veterans. On the other side of the English Channel, French President Emmanuel Macron attended events in Brittany and Normandy, where he honored the veterans who fought on 6 June 1944 and paid tribute to those who had died.
The summer of 1944 saw 13,000 civilians dead, gone during the battle where the fate of the world was at stake. Saint Lo for the nation, and it's all for this, and we won't forget. Long live the Republic, long live France.
More than 150,000 service personnel from the United States, Britain, Canada and other allied nations took part in the landings on D-Day. The main ceremonies will take place in France on Thursday with world leaders and royalty including US President Joe Biden, French President Emmanuel Macron, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and Britain's King Charles and Queen Camilla. Bureau Report, DD India.
And drones lit up the night sky over England's Portsmouth on Wednesday on the eve of the 80th anniversary of D-Day. The light show featured drones forming various shapes, including a Spitfire, a soldier, and the words, "I remember." Boeing on Wednesday launched its Starliner capsule towards the International Space Station with 2 NASA astronauts aboard. The CST-100 Starliner, with astronauts Barry Wilmore and Sunita Williams aboard, lifted off from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida for a roughly 1-week stay at the station. The latest launch made Williams the first woman to test an orbital spacecraft. The historic test flight, the third attempt after repeated delays, could pave the way for routine flights between Boeing's Starliner capsule and NASA. It is the first time the vehicle has been entrusted to carry people after coming through a long and tortuous development program. The mission is a test flight required before NASA can certify Starliner for routine astronaut missions. Meanwhile, SpaceX CEO Elon Musk extended his best wishes to Boeing and the crew for successful launch. Cocaine and ecstasy are just some of the drugs and pharmaceuticals that have been found in marine species in coastal waters around Britain, according to the scientists. Let's take a look at this report.
Cocaine and ecstasy are just some of the drugs that have been found in marine life in Britain's coastal waters. That's according to scientists at the University of Portsmouth and Brunel University London.
We found cocaine in our marine organisms, we found MDMA, we found methamphetamine, and these are in crabs, in oysters, in seaweeds, in worms that live in the sediment.
The ongoing study involves volunteer citizen scientists, swimmers, sailors and windsurfers, who became concerned about the state of the water and by a rising number of reported illnesses in the area. They collected hundreds of samples from Chichester and Langstone harbours that revealed high levels of potentially harmful chemicals. Professor Alex Ford is a marine biologist from the University of Portsmouth.
Some of the pollution that we have here is from stormwater overflows and sewage. We have historic landfills placed all around here which could well be leaking chemicals that we banned many, many decades ago. And we have lots of inputs from farming and road runoff as well.
In 2021, Southern Water, which is responsible for treating water and sewage in the area, was handed a record fine of £90 million after pleading guilty to thousands of illegal discharges of sewage, which polluted rivers and coastal waters in southern England.
There is so much waste coming out of it into our cities.
Scientists found that traces of drugs and pharmaceuticals make their way into waters after passing through human bodies. Ford says we don't yet know the full effect of drugs on marine life, but adds they could alter some creatures' natural behaviour.
So if you cage a fish downstream of a sewage treatment plant, it will start to feminise within a couple of weeks. If you give a crab or a fish antidepressants, it will change its behaviour in very much the way it was designed to change our behaviour if we took that medication.
All right, let's get to updates from the world of cricket now. India eased past Ireland by 8 wickets to start their T20 World Cup campaign with a win. Getting you more on this, India blew away the Ireland batting lineup after winning the toss and putting them to bat first. Led by Hardik Pandya's 3-wicket haul, India restricted Ireland to 96 runs in the T20 World Cup. Jasprit Bumrah and Arshdeep Singh also took 2 wickets. Meanwhile, in the chase, Rohit Sharma's 52 runs off 37 balls kept India in the driving seat, and the side eventually reached home in 12.2 overs. Rohit had to retire hurt after getting injured during batting. An all-round show from Marcus Stoinis helped Australia clinch a 39-run victory over Oman in their Group B match of the T20 World Cup on Thursday. Asked to bat first, Australia posted 164 for 5 in 20 overs, with Stoinis scoring 56 and 67 runs. Meanwhile, David Warner, in his final tournament before international retirement, compiled 56 off 51 balls before falling in a penultimate over. The Kangaroos also produced a dominating bowling performance as they restricted Oman to 125 for 9. For Australia, Stoinis scalped 3 wickets while Michelle Stark, Adam Zampa and Nathan Ellis scalped 2 wickets each. It's the end of an era in Indian football on Thursday when Sunil Chhetri will lead the Indian football team for one last time before bringing the curtains down on his 19-year-long illustrious career. The 39-year-old will sign off from the international stage by leading the Indian team against Kuwait for one final time in a high-stakes World Cup 2026 qualifier. Chhetri had made the announcement on May 16th, and all eyes are on the Kuwait game as fans turn up to see the legendary striker in India colours for the last time. With their final group game coming up against the mighty Qatar, it is a must-win situation for India as they look to keep their World Cup hopes alive. That's it in this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. Now, this app is available on both iOS and Android platforms. You can scan the QR codes on the screens now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.